Hi dear friends, I'm Dr. Jyoti, fertility expert leading team 49 speaking. Today I'm going to discuss about IVF. Many couples who come to fertility treatment sometime or the other ask this question to us: what is IVF and what is it different from ICSI? IVF, when we say, it is called as in vitro fertilization. ICSI means intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So most of the time when we see childless couple coming to the fertility center wishing to go with a baby, which is a bundle of joy, ideally we start treatment with small tablets, then we do small procedure like IUI, which is required. But when it comes to IVF, out of 100, only maybe 15 to 20% may require IVF. It's not like everybody. It's only for some set of people because this is a procedure. So most of them with small medication they conceive. But some couples, they may not conceive with the basic treatments. So now I'll explain you in this video about the indications for IVF. When do we recommend a couple to go to IVF? And what is the procedure? How do we do the procedure? I'll explain about the procedure. And third, most of them ask after IVF, do we need to take rest? I'll clear the doubts about these. And then once the baby is formed, one pregnancy happens through IVF. So should we, continue? What are the activities where we can continue? What are the do's and don'ts? I'll be discussing about these 4 issues. So first, when it comes about the indication for IVF, so when do we choose those couples? Yes, they need IVF treatment. This first condition is when the tubes are blocked totally, not one, when both the tubes are blocked. So what exactly happens in tubes is that should be open. When tubes are open, egg and sperm meets and a baby is formed. If the tubes are blocked, there is no way where they can naturally conceive. So bilateral tubal block means if both the tubes are blocked, that is a straightforward reason why we recommend IVF in them. Many times we have seen they try so many medicines for 1 or 2 years. Ultimately when they do a tube test, both will be blocked. Unnecessary of waste of money on which was not required for them. So this is one condition. The second condition is when a lady comes to us and she has very few eggs, 1 or 2 eggs, and we want her to become the genetic mother. When we know, okay, we wait for more time and we may not get her eggs at all, then we, first we try IUI. If it fails, we go for IVF. Third condition is when the male factor, when the sperm counts are very, very less, not less. When we say less, there is something called as oligospermia. Counts are less, but here it is called a severe condition. If you have to say scientifically, according to science, sperm count is normally 25 millions and above, normally in all the males. But if a male partner has sperm count less than 5 millions, and not only count, there is something called as motility. The sperm should have movements. Then, naturally it can help in causing pregnancy. If there is problem in the motility, these sperms are not effective to create pregnancy. For example, sperm motility normally is 40%. If the motility is somewhere very less, like 10% or 5%, we suggest them IVF. And morphology also plays a major role now. What is morphology of the sperm? It means how a sperm has a structure. It has a head, it has a neck and a tail. Usually 4% out of 100 sperms, 4 sperms, if they are good, it's normal. Nothing to worry at all. Chances of normal conception is very good. If the morphology is less than 4%, 3, 2, then there is an issue. Sometimes all put together we suggest for an IVF. This is about male factor. Then again in females, there is some conditions like endometriosis, where a lady's egg bag has lot of eggs, but it is filled with lot of blood also. We call it as a chocolate cyst. That is grade 1 and grade 2, we don't suggest IVF. If it is grade 3 and 4, then we suggest IVF. Then another condition like pelvic inflammatory disorder, where there is lot of infection in the lady's uterus, where the lot of infection, where we can see all the uterus, the ovary, everything is jammed inside. We call it as adhesions. When it goes to that level, natural pregnancy chances become very less for them. And in certain conditions like when we have done 3 to 4 IUI and it has failed, and then next step is IVF. And in some conditions like everything is fine, the male factor is normal, the female is having her cycles, tubes are also okay, but they have taken tablets for almost 1 or 2 years, they have done IUI 3 to 6 cycles, still it has failed. We call them as unexplained infertility. Even for them, then later we take up for IVF. These, and there are some other miscellaneous conditions. These are the usual condition where we do an IVF. So then next, what is the difference between IVF and ICSI, people ask us. So IVF, what do we do? I'll just tell you the procedure so that it's easier to understand. So normally one lady, every month she will have cycle. That is what usually happens. Every month when she is having a cycle, every month one egg is coming out of her egg bag, and once egg is coming out, when she is with her husband, chances of pregnancy becomes good. That is called as the fertile period. But in IVF, what we do is, the egg bag, there are many eggs, we try to get almost how many ever eggs she has for that month. That is around, at least it's good if we get around ideal number is somewhere 10 to 15, if this many eggs. So how do we get these many eggs? If we get these many eggs, then her success rate becomes very good. That is the ideal number to give pregnancy. So how do we get these many eggs? Is by, from second day of the cycle, we give her daily some injections for almost 8 to 10 days. In that 10 days, we give some injections and with small anesthesia, it's not so painful. On 10th or 12th day, we give one injection trigger, and after that 36 hours later, we do egg pickup. So when we collect all the eggs, it is called as OPU, oocyte pickup, we call it as in medical terms, and we can call it as egg pickup. Once we take the egg, then we ask the husband to give the sample, and both the egg and the sperm, we'll keep it in the tubes for some time. So in IVF, we just keep it in the tube. In 24 hours, it forms a baby. A baby is formed in the lab. Egg and the sperm, they meet and a baby is formed. That is IVF. In ICSI, what we do, we take the egg and we directly inject the sperm inside. So after 24 hours, a baby is formed. And this baby, on 3rd day or 5th day, of the baby's age, we call it as embryo, day 3 embryo or day 5. Day 5 is called as blastocyst. So on that day, we'll take this baby and put it in her uterus. See, this is the uterus, what we know. This is the endometrium. We take the baby in a small catheter without anesthesia. It is, there won't be any pain. We just insert here, and then what happens, it attaches. For 15 days, we'll give her some medication. So after doing we call it as an embryo transfer, where we put the embryo, the baby, into her uterus. It's just like a seed and soil. Putting the seed is the embryo, into the soil is the uterus. Then implantation happens. So pregnancy happens after 15 days. We will know the test by doing something called as beta HCG blood test. We can find out the woman is pregnant. Once we get this beta HCG, it's not only a rejoice for the couple, even the doctors, the treating doctors are very happy, because after this procedure, if she can go with the baby, nothing more than that. So now the last part of the discussion today. Once she is pregnant, it's a very happy situation. Most of them think, okay, I'm pregnant now, I've undergone such a procedure, I have to always take rest. But as a fertility expert, as a doctor, we don't suggest any bed rest at all. Even after putting the embryos, we tell them just to take rest for 1 or 2 days. Later, they can do all their activities. They can go do their job. They can do their routine household activity. There is no role of rest. Even once she becomes pregnant, she can do all her job. She can go travel, everything she can do. Only when we tell rest is, if say suppose she is pregnant and she starts having bleeding, then we tell her you have to take a rest for 2 to 3 days. Other than that, what science says is, even after IVF, there is no role of rest. So this is the procedure, and with this procedure, many of them who could not have conceived have conceived, and millions of kids are born through this procedure. And even males, when there is zero sperm count also, through ICSI they have become genetic father. So always we see couples who are struggling for almost 10, 15, 20 years, and when they go with the baby, it's not only a happiness to their to the couples, also to their family. Thank you so much.